With burning the brush, one of the things that I have found to be helpful in getting it to burn is, especially the fresh cut brush, is you have to mix in some type of dry wood to keep your fire hot, so that way it's hot enough to burn it. So continuing on today with clearing out this area here to start our little mini orchard here. We got our fruit trees from Stark Brothers yesterday. Good morning.
Good morning.
You ready to rock and roll today, aren't you?
Yep.
Excited about planting some fruit trees?
Mm-hmm.
Me too. So the first thing we're gonna do, Selah, is just start loading some of these logs in the back of the gorilla cart there that you brought over with the lawn tractor. And we'll gradually, I'll start cutting some more up and we'll just start taking them over to our wood pile. So let's start rocking.
And rolling.
All right, so making some progress. I am coming across a couple of areas where there's significant poison ivy vines. However, I have been taking homeopathy remedies for poison ivy. I've been exposed to it a number of times now, and I've noticed that each time my body seems to have a little bit more of a resistance and build up to it. However, I'm gonna try not to push it and start bathing in it or rubbing it all over. But I have noticed that my body seems to be a little bit stronger against it. So hopefully that continues, because there's a significant vine right here. So I'm gonna try to cut up along here and not let it rub my skin. Hopefully, we'll do the best we can. But let me just say, when I started my homestead, our homestead here, I had to do a lot out here by myself. And now that the kids are out here helping out, they really are making a significant difference with helping me out. They're speeding up tasks so much for me. In the past, I'd have to do a project like this. I'd be running the chainsaw on top of running the wood over there. Things just take a lot longer. But now that they are so much more hands-on, especially Selah running the lawn tractor right now, it is significant. But Josiah and Micah are a huge help too. And Lacey is too, so I do mention that. She's oftentimes doing a number of things with the house and office stuff, but whenever I can have the help, I really appreciate it. You guys are doing a fantastic job right there. Way to go.
I'm keeping this piece of wood.
Wow, you are?
Yep.
Got a hole in it?
Yep.
I can see you. We're almost at the finish line. We just got a little bit left. What I'm gonna cut next is not exactly where we're gonna be planting trees, but this is a tree that I moved that is actually blocking the path into the garden. I'm wrapping the garden around the perimeter with the fence as work in progress, but this will be the entryway where we can bring the lawn tractor and other things. And this is towards the back side of the garden where we still have our arugula growing and some lettuce. And I'm gonna be making some beds here. Right now we have some ducks helping us out with mowing the grass here, and we're gonna continue some beds like we have down there and making beds right here. But first I need to cut up this guy so it will not hinder our way into the garden. I mentioned how much the kids are a help. This tool right here is also a help too. It's like having another person, a strong person, to help me lift up the logs and prep them so I can cut them into rounds for the wood stove. But it really gives you leverage so you're not cutting in the ground. Definitely like this tool. Definitely glad to have it on this project for sure. keep these flames down. The wind just came out of nowhere this morning. I had a suspicion it was gonna come, looking at the forecast, because usually when there's a drastic change in the temperature, then wind is a guarantee for here. So I think we may just go ahead and put this fire out so it won't hold us up when we're trying to keep the flames down. Bomber, I was almost done. This is the last of what we have left to burn right here. But better safe than sorry. Go ahead, Sailor, go ahead and start spraying stuff.
Oh, hold on, what are you doing?
You're trying to put me out. Now you have my permission if I am on fire to put me out. But I'm not yet.
Not yet.
Alrighty, now that the fire's out, now it's time to get to work and finishing the last logs that we have to cut up. So this time, Sailor's gonna help me out. We're using log ox just so we can speed this up and make this process go better. A couple of days ago, she learned to use the log ox for the first time, and she really made what I was doing more efficient and sped it up a lot. And she looked like she had a good time doing it. So we're gonna do it again.
Yeah.
While the boys load it up here in a minute, after we get through cutting it, the boys will load it up into the back of the gorilla cart on the lawn tractor. Pull it out. Yeah, there you go. Bang. You don't want people saying you guys are slackers, do you? Get some wood, buddy. Show them how strong you are, Micah. There you go. Now you're showing how those muscles work. Good job, fellas. All right, so had to come inside for a breather because it's starting to heat up outside, and I was pretty warm from having the fire going earlier, as well as running the chainsaw, cutting up all those logs. So, whew, that's done, and now we're sitting here planning out how we're gonna put the fruit trees in the ground, just kind of making a plan. I've been thinking about it, and it's time to actually start putting them in the ground now. It's crazy to think about. We were just talking earlier, if we would have done fruit trees right when we moved here, we'd be having fruit right now. But you know what? Also was thinking, if we had been in a similar situation, that we may not be here, and I would have put the trees in the wrong spot for sure. Yeah. Because I highly recommend, and others recommend this, like Joel South and others, to be on your land for at least a year before you do any of that. And I must say,
before you do anything.
Before you do anything, start a garden, whatever. Learn about your property. Just spend that first year just taking it in. And I feel like I'm still learning and just seeing different things that stand out to me. But I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of where the light is, where the water runs, how it runs on the property. And those are some of the things that you don't see just coming in that first year. Well, all right, it's time to start putting this on paper so we can start putting them in the ground. And we got our trees from Stark Brothers, and they have a number of beneficial videos to show you how to plant them. But one resource that we found to be really helpful was done by Stefan at Miracle Farms in Quebec, Canada, and he has a video course called Permaculture Orchard, and he's been raising fruit trees, permaculture based, for years now, very, very successfully. And we found that course to be very, very helpful.
And you can watch it in one evening. It's not like this long course.
It's like right at 2 hours.
Yeah, and Selah sat down and watched it too, so she was interested in it.
So if you're interested in checking that out, we'll leave the info in the show notes below for checking that out. And for ours, what we're gonna do is, since we have the 2 persimmon trees already in place, we're gonna use those as our pear trees. So they're about somewhere between 10 to 12 feet apart, which ideally he suggested 12 feet apart. So we're going to gradually go to that as we go. So we have our 2 persimmons here. Oops, gotta learn to spell persimmon. A little scratchy, but you get the point. Then we're going to go a locust, and he suggests 8 to 10 feet apart. and then we're gonna do an apple, and then we're gonna do a pear, then we're gonna do a locust, and then we're gonna do, we have a persimmon tree that is already there, and then we're gonna do one of our cherry trees. And then on our other row, we're gonna continue from the persimmon that we have. We're gonna do a pear, and then we're gonna do locust, then we're gonna do apple, then we're gonna do cherry, then we're gonna do our locust, and then we're gonna do another apple. So that will be 2 rows of fruit trees. And within that, he suggests you can also interplant a number of different things from a permaculture standpoint, like raspberries, which we've also got, or some of the other ones that we...
Blackberries, nasturtiums, all different kinds of flowers, herbs, you know, all kinds of pollinators. You could do comfrey. I mean, there were so many different options that you can do, which we plan on doing.
Yeah.
Elderberries too was another one.
There we go. Yep, and your mother actually has some of those ready for us. So
Mom bought some and started them in water for us.
So what we're gonna do next is I'm gonna have Lacey, there's a couple stumps that we need to get just moved out of the way, and just kind of grade the land just a little bit with the skid steer. So if you can bust out your tractor girl skills again and do that, and then we'll start digging. Another thing that he suggested is dig down in the area that you're gonna plant 4 feet to see where the water table is. When I've used the excavator, I have actually gone deeper than that a few times, so I think we're good on that. He also suggested not planting at the top of the hill, plant more towards the middle if you're on the slope, and that's approximately where we are, so we should be good to go.
Yeah.
All right, let's make it happen.
Okay.
As I've been harvesting these different trees, we have trying to sort them out by the uses for the different types of wood. For example, the cedar, we can use them as posts because cedar is disease and water resistant. And we've also set aside some of these persimmon roots and stumps here because we've heard that they are also good for use as well. Some wood we're going to use for firewood, others can be used for carving spoons and a number of other different tools. So we have tried to be selective as best as we have knowledge for, but still the overall thing is produce something tangible that keeps us alive to eat. So another fantastic job by our tractor girl. But I do want to show you guys something. See the soil right here? And then see it up there? See how it's darker here? Easier to move around. And you see up here? This is clay and it's gooey. Well, right here where it's darker and easier to move is where we had our chickens, and we mulched it really good over, I don't know, the past 2 years or so. And over here is where we didn't. There's a number of other trees where we couldn't really work it, get the chickens in to work really well, nor could I add mulch to it. So that there shows you the difference. Oh, and this is a really good spot here. Look at that. Way different. That there shows you the benefits of using mulch and wood chips when you can. Alright, so right now I'm actually doing an official measurement with a tape measure and then setting out these logs here for where the trees need to go. And as I'm measuring, I'm actually seeing that I'm able to get one more tree in than I originally thought. So that's a bonus. And as I'm setting these out, I'm looking down and seeing the image that I wanted to see of it being clear without the branches here now and the trees, and being able to see the garden and then soon one day to be able to see the fruit trees growing and producing here as well. All right, so I just laid out these little logs here where we're going to be placing each of the trees. I was able to get one more in than we originally planned, but then I stopped and looked up and saw the view that we have here without all the branches that I had stored on the fence. What do you think about this view right now?
I think it's gorgeous. I've always liked standing up here and looking down. So it gets prettier every year.
And thinking about the way it was before with the overcrowded trees here, and then thinking about what we're planning here with the future of the fruit trees here, and being able to look down and see the abundance of things growing, how do you feel about that?
I like to think that we're setting ourselves up for the future. We're looking to the future. We're planting for the future. With all the doom and gloom going on right now, I think we all need to look to the future.
Yeah. None of us know for sure what the future holds, but being able to have a hope and planning, that means something. Everybody needs hope, everybody needs planning, and something to look forward to. And to look beyond, we believe beyond the doom and gloom, there's glory. So that's that. Alright, so I have a lot of shoveling to do, as you can tell. And for those of you who watch our channel on a regular basis, I do have access to the excavator at times, but this time I don't. It is on another job site. I don't own it, it's not mine, so I'm just gonna have to make do and get my workout in. So I'm gonna have to catch you next time. So that's it for now. I'm gonna get to work, so make sure you stay tuned to see what our layout looks like once we plant the fruit trees. See you next time.